Remember when? A joint didn't mean you were hip or neat. Wait. Is that related to drugs? Who decided?
That's not good.
This is not
Animals
good.
can't eat pizza.
This isn't good for you. This is almost worse than drugs, I dare say. Not gonna lie, that dog's looking a little high. Huh. Well, I guess if the shoe fits. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Jesse. Fun fact about me, I've lived in the same state my entire life, and for about 12 years of that, I've lived in just one city. The city has a population of about 24,000 people, so it's not exactly like really big, but it's not really super small either. I won't say the name of the town, but I will say it rhymes with Smonka Smitty, Smokelahoma. I've gone to school here since like 2nd or 3rd grade, and frankly, the memory gap between all of it is it's pretty fucking big. During my school years, I went to field trips to places like the Marlin Mansion, which is sort of the centerpiece of the city. Kind of weird when you find out the guy that owned the mansion married his stepdaughter and got fucked over by a corporation that the town now runs on and became a Democrat as a result. But by far, the weirdest field trip I ever went to was something the town labels drugstore. I remember as a kid thinking, why are they calling this drugstore? It almost like seems like it's implying that you buy drugs there. But now that I'm older and wiser, I can officially say, yeah, why are they fucking called that? It doesn't make any sense. So let's set up the scene here with 6th grade me being replaced with some 6th graders in this YouTube video that was made in 2015. These kids are taken on a bus to this big building and then sat in some bleachers where a cop comes out and tells us how they're gonna be shown stuff about drugs and learn about responsibility shit. They go and they're taught about legal drugs such as alcohol and prescriptions. So at this point I remember thinking, wow, I'm really bored. I'm being taught that underage drinking is illegal. So the lady starts trying to talk about something that I would consider to be a little bit more important, which is drug packaging being similar to something that the kids would like.
The packaging is of similar sort to things that are common candies and gums.
But as she's talking about this, she's just cut off and the kids are just sent to the next section.
But yet, because the packaging is done the way that it is, it makes it more appealing to you. I'm sorry. Okay. You're going to have an opportunity to move on to the next stage.
So now we're sent to the drug awareness part. And now that I'm older looking at this, holy shit, they're placing some weird stuff in my head.
The thing of it is, though, is I want to explain to you all is that drug dealers and drug users do not care about you. Okay, they don't care about your mom, your dad, your little brothers, sisters. They don't care about your family. They don't care if you die using the product they sell you. All they care about, and all users care about, is the next high.
I mean, it's a pretty big generalization to say that anybody who ever uses drugs doesn't care about you and is a bad person. Hey, have you ever had a family member that used drugs? Yeah, they're just a bad person and they don't care about you. And I'm not saying those cases don't exist. They totally do. There's plenty of people who become addicts and then they do terrible shit and they just don't care about people anymore. But don't you think generalizing it down to no good people do drugs is kind of dangerous for these kids that are gonna grow up in a world where inevitably people are gonna do drugs around them? Fuck those people. Screw those people because they do something that hurts themselves. I'm gonna push them out. If this string is my relationship and these scissors are drugs, this is what's gonna happen. I cut it. They go on to talk about all these serious drugs, and really I have no problem with it. They talk about addiction and meth labs and heroin. The one thing I can't seem to get over though is how there's a pot leaf at the beginning of the slideshow. We got heroin, we got pills, we got meth, and then there's weed leaf in there as well. It totally belongs in the same category as all those other drugs.
Okay, this young lady right here was a supermodel. That's her after she started using drugs.
Wow, that's a nice before and after picture you got going there. They end up bringing out a drug dog to detect if any of the kids have drugs on them. At this point I remember thinking, fuck, I really shouldn't have brought drugs to this thing. Luckily for me, they decided to apprehend another little boy instead. Yeehaw!
Okay, as I explained to you, this is a very real This is a very real instance, okay?
OMG, did one of my classmates just get arrested in front of me? What? So I mean, I guess we won't be seeing much of him now. I mean, is he gonna get kicked out of school? Or are we gonna be able to say goodbye? Oh, it's his court date. This is his court date 10 minutes later. So in case you haven't caught on to what's happening here, the Oklahoma court system is fucking legit. It's awesome. They go through these cases at an incredible speed.
Court's in recess. You may take them.
He was framed, I'm telling you. So they got a kid to act like he stole meth from like a bin where they showed the kids what the drugs looked like, which, you know, I think the idea of having meth out in front of children in the first place, maybe not so good. When they did it my year, they picked the only Mexican kid in the class, which I think is pretty fucking funny. They decided to make the kid do some community service and do some drug testing, and when he goes to his first drug test, this happens.
The other thing that we're gonna need is, you've been assigned to do random, UAs. And so what we wanna start with is we wanna start with getting one of those today. So what I'm gonna need from you is for you to take this cup, go across the hall and do me a drug sample.
A drug sample?
A drug sample.
You want him to like get some drugs, like put it into the cup? Is that what you want? Quickly, things go sour as he refuses to give her any of the drugs he has and instead chooses to smack the cup out of her hand.
What you can use this.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
That was a poor choice.
That was indeed a poor choice. There's this long, great pause after that seems like it lasts for fucking ever.
This way, you can walk up. If you're in front and you can kneel down so the ones behind you can see, that'd be great. Kneel down. If you're in front, please kneel down.
Holy shit, now it's a party. Man, I just love those parties that have 4 teenagers at a middle schooler listening to metal and doing some drugs together. I remember those days. So it looks like Benny has overdosed and his so-called friends just leave while only one stays to call the police. Remember everybody, you want to get friends that don't do drugs, and you want to find friends that care about you for you and not for getting high, and that you find people in your life that have a positive influence, because in the end it's not about it's not about the drugs, it's about friendships that we make along.
CPR. Dad, get the IV started here.
Colin, what were you doing, kiddo?
I don't think he's gonna answer you on account that he's overdosed and is dying. So to put it short, Colin just straight up dies right there, and it's supposed to show all his peers what drugs can do to you. One day, Colin was playing basketball, shooting hoops. Next day, he's a heroin banger, and he's just dead. It's a tragic world we live in. Now comes what I consider to be the most fucked up part of this whole thing. They get an actress to come in to play his mother, and you get to see her reaction as she sees that her son has died. And oh boy, it really tugs at my heartstrings.
No, Colin, no. Please, Colin, please. No. Honey, I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. No. Colin, honey, no. Please, no. Do something else. I've done all we can. No. I'm sorry. No.
This poor woman. I'm devastated. Now we're at a funeral. They're reading off some scripture, and the message is clear. Don't do drugs, I think. So okay, they have this open casket, and I'm in line to see what's inside the casket, and I'm like, fucking holy shit, what's in there? Did they actually put his body in there? Is it some kind of doll? What's going on? No, it was a mirror. They put a fucking mirror in the casket. The lady looks at me and says, don't let this be you. Don't be the kid who steals meth from drugstore and then gets arrested and then doesn't do his drug test and then goes and does heroin at a party and then dies. The lack of subtlety here is quite amazing. They have the kid take the most extreme route possible and have him become a fucking heroin banger. Like, that's quite the opening step. And to think it could have been me. Honestly, despite how unrealistic and kind of weird this idea is, I sort of like it. I think it sort of puts the kids at more attention seeing one of their peers up there going through it instead of just watching a video with some dude they don't know going through the experience. Could they have maybe explored the subtleties of drugs a little bit more? Not labeled every single drug addict as a terrible person? Yeah, that probably would have helped. But regardless, I think the kids are going to figure that out for themselves when they get older anyway. And all in all, this thing did work on me as a kid. I had a spook about drugs. I was so scared. But at the end of the day, you can't really explore a complex issue like this in a 30-minute workshop. So you might as well just do this, right, Oklahoma?